Hey Jude, good morning, Saturday morning. Thanks for touching base yesterday and for actually just connecting and sharing where you're at, what you're wanting to do, and of course, what you feel you're needing to get in place in order to make it happen. We spent quite a while just looking at a whole lot of different options, really uncovering and discovering some of the opportunities that are out there. And of course, as you can see, they are there, and we also want to always mitigate that risk. And I said I'd quickly record a video for you, just sharing a bit more about how I structure my coaching and of course some of the payment processes, so that we can really be on the same page and look forward to creating something that's really solid and of course is giving you the fastest route to what it is that you're really wanting, which at the end of the day, I'm hearing more and more is around the automation, is the systemization, and of course that absolute efficiency in really making things work so that you're not wasting time, wasting money, wasting energy, and something that will, at the end of the day, give you something more for your family and for your kids, right? Because ultimately, like for me, the money is just a reflection of the actions that I take, but what I value is the time and choice to be able to go and do the things that I want, choice to be able to spend the time or not, or with whom or not. And I think that for me resonates with you as well, in being able to have more options available for you and not feel that you're stuck in something. So that's really my speciality. My niche is in finding and supporting you in unlocking that and doing that. I had said last night that I'm not convinced of this word passive income. I only have actually one stream of income, which is totally passive, which is on some of my online courses, parenting courses, where I do absolutely nothing. That's all there. I don't answer questions. I don't do anything. It's all fantastically automated. It goes around the world. And it's one whole scenario. But otherwise, in the properties, there's always something that pulls me back, something that needs my intervention, something else that needs me to reassess something. So, but I'm always striving for that ultimate hands-off approach to property investing, and especially in the management side. I'm always working at that and pushing myself to develop those systems, and then of course to share them with my students so that they can benefit from it. So in what I shared, I know I shared a bit about the online course. So here again, just sharing with you that resource of all the, whenever I record something or find that there's something that I can automate and share with people, and that's what I do, so that therefore you can spend your own time on this and not our valuable time. I've sent you the link. Certainly take a look at that. I also sent you the link on the advanced Airbnb course, and this really came out of the difference between you just have your own little unit and you're wanting to make that work, to hang on, I actually now want to automate this and scale this, right? How do I find new opportunities? How do I do the rent to rent where it's more scalable? And of course, that's the automation side where the advanced course is really focused primarily on. So that's also a really great one, which you might be interested in at some point as well, right? So let's just come down to two things. One is obviously what it is that you plan and what it is that you're looking for. And I'm wanting to make sure that, when I commit to you or to any client, I want to make sure we're on the same page and that I can fulfill on what it is that I see is possibly emerging out there. From my side, I had shared that my background experience in teaching as a professional life coach and business coach, accredited, it took me 3 years to become an international accredited coach. My real drive is unlocking the potential that's within you to make that work. And however that shows up, whether it's in your business, whether it's in property investing, in relationships, I bring a whole wealth of experience and insight of coaching for nearly 2 decades, and really being focused on what is it that we as human beings really need so that we can access the life that we feel that we deserve and that we love to live. And I'm always listening for that part of you and seeing if it matches with your actions, with your mindset. I'm looking to see where's the bottleneck, where is your limitation, where is the belief that you have about something that actually could be preventing you from unlocking that. And in that space, it becomes very exciting for us to start exploring that, right? As opposed to, like I mentioned, just, well, here is a process for you to buy property or not, which means then that I'm totally passionate and interested about a whole range of different things in the property world, whether it's the low income management, whether it's how to buy the low income housing, medium, managing offshore, doing the sub twos, doing installment sales, doing lease options, all those different ones. I'm always searching for what is the best way to do it and how do I make this work. And that's one of the things that, as you would learn in our profiles as a mechanic, I just love understanding how things are put together so that I can take them apart and reconstruct them even better. So that's really, as soon as I find that, I put them on my courses so that people can take a look and see that. So one of the things that I really just want to, get clear on again is, you set some really bold goals when you're sharing about like 100 ALAs and a whole lot of property investing in the US. So again, and I had shared, there's useful information there, and my work with you would be primarily around making sure we're grounded, we've got the right information, and we're running the right calculations. I had talked about the ALAs that like that Heron had mentioned, and I mentioned some of my concerns about how that would look and how that would roll out. And yes, it's going to be a great time for it, but it's certainly, I don't feel that it would just be as easy as that, because there's still quite a process to go through. And I had mentioned that if we actually just take what he was referring to as, if you've got a 105% loan to value and the prices are now at that point, you're not going to buy it below market value. And if it still is market value, then I'm not sure that your rent to value is going to be making a cash flow positive. So I have some concerns about how that is structured, as in the scale that you want to go to. And I certainly don't want to say, yeah, sure, let's do 100 ALAs and let's do 50 properties in the US. There's a different dynamic there and a pace, and I certainly don't want to give false expectations. As I said, my drive is to support you in seeing what you can do and the actions that you can take and unlock that. I certainly don't want to promise something that I can't fulfill on. And I know what I do, and I know how good I am, and I want to make sure that you're clear on that I'm helping you access your potential and bring that to reality. And of course, be as a great sounding board, especially in those challenging situations where you start to feel stuck or you're procrastinating. I see that as part of my job, is to help you through that and unlock that, and to keep you focused on what's really important to you. Again, like I mentioned, in the US, if we take that $118,000 property that I was referring to, that's fine if you can find it yourself and you can manage the transfers and the rehabs if you're doing that. But from my side, obviously my team over there with my partner, they're finding the properties, so therefore they have a sourcing fee. So even if it was like that $118,000, there are also those kind of costs, right, that need to be taken into account. So again, that's a rare situation where suddenly we're saying, oh yeah, we're just getting this property for free, like it's been handed over, because there would still be costs. There's still things, like I mentioned, we're still needing to put in between $35,000 to maybe $50,000. Even if it is just a clean, no buyout of the seller, sometimes we still need to do refurb to get it rent ready, or we're still paying the finder, the sourcing agent who actually marketed, went, negotiated the installment sale, set everything up for us so that we could actually just buy them out. And often that's about $10,000 is the finder's fee, the sourcing fee in the US, which is what we're working on. So again, I want to just make sure that in what I'm sharing with you, there's a realistic component to this. And sometimes what I often share as well in the coaching is, I've always said that if my client is not finding value in my sessions, then that's my bad. That's my fault for not knowing what the value is and making sure that I'm delivering. So in all of my work, if it is that a client comes to me and says, listen, I'm not getting the value that I want, then can we please terminate? For me, it's like as simple as, of course, because that's my fault. I'm not delivering value in what it is that you're looking for and expecting. So that puts me at really needing to deliver and make sure that I'm producing what it is you value. At the same time, I want to make sure then that your expectations of what you're looking for are actually realistic as well, and are not something which you feel like suddenly this 100 ALAs is something. And I'm coming back to that because I'm concerned that that's a bold thing in like such a short amount of time, when it actually for me is not proven as to how that's all going to roll out. Obviously, I know the ALAs work. It's great. We're negotiating them. I think it's more challenging than that, and I think the costs involved are slightly different compared to what Heron is sharing, and there's a whole different process around that. But at the same time, if that's whatever it is that you're wanting, my job is to help you unlock your possibility of making that happen. So let's just jump into then quickly onto some of the payment stuff. This is what I mentioned. I really have 3 different kind of packages which roll out a different number of sessions. Within all of my packages, all 3 of those, you get access to obviously the resource course. And I'm sure If we go for the 85,000 one, I will include the Airbnb one into that because I know that is also the one that you're interested in. It's separate from my resource course, but I would include that into that because of the specific niche that you're looking for, which is obviously around seeing the Airbnb cash flow. And for me, that is that answer. The difference between them, 16, 10, and 7 sessions. Again, this is really around those sessions I mentioned. This is really determined by the pace at which you want to work, the stuff that we're working on, and of course, the insights that you want. I would definitely recommend the 16 session, and that's purely because it's got the WhatsApp check-ins and of course, our ability to communicate in between sessions, which for me is really, really what I'm wanting, is to be able to have access to you, for you to be able to feel you can ask me a question, and that can actually happen. Every week I sit down on my schedule on usually it's on a Tuesday, and I go through my clients who are on that tier package, and I'm thinking, where are they at? What do they need? And I often reach out. I'll send you a WhatsApp that says, Jude, where you're at, what's going on, what have you done since our last session? So I also keep that momentum going because now I have a vested interest in you. And in you succeeding and achieving the goals that you set. And that for me is what the beauty of that is. People often ask, well, how is it that, if suddenly you're WhatsApping me every day and taking up a lot of my time? Well, for me, this is around, a shared understanding that this is not abused, but this is around really something which is going to contribute to our deepening relationship and the ability for you to make really powerful and informed decisions on your business and, of course, in your property investing. So if it is that, it starts looking that way, we just reopen the conversation and just reset those expectations. But I've never had a problem around that. And that's partly because, the stuff that we're putting in place is powerful and getting you closer in any case. And you don't need me to hold your hand because, you've already got so much experience. This is really around just making sure you're on track, or if you're wanting to bounce something off, it really opens that up as freely for you to be able to do that. So just take a look there, see if you have any questions. This is something which is really great. I would also suggest that when we get going on this, we would first do your wealth strategy session, which is over and above this, right? It's included in your pricing, but it's not counted as a session. I would actually include your wife into that as well, like I mentioned. And actually, it would be useful to bring her into the debrief or the strategy session so she can also get your profile and how you think relating to property, and her profile and how that relates to her relationship to your own property. That for me is so exciting because there's so much insight into our relationships, which makes our property investing far more like a partnership. Even if it is that there's a silent partner, it's really powerful in that. And it might even be in this that as we get going, you might find that if you've got other business partners that you're working on, I would be open to seeing that we can test them as well, maybe 2 or 3 of them without you having to pay another 3,500 Rand per test, right? So I'm including that all into this, which means really, that's a great package and a great deal for you just economically from just saving, of course, the cash flow. We don't increase the prices if we're doing payment plans, which basically means that if you, again, I'm coming back to, if you don't feel there's value and you terminate, there's no penalty for you because you're paying for kind of like what's unfolding. And as soon as that just doesn't trigger, then I'm saying that's my bad. And here we go. We can, find a way to settle it. So there it is. Let me know if you've got any questions. The process from here is once we agree to this, basically the documentation agreements is very simple, very quick. And then I start sending you the information. We set up a time to do the actual strategy session on your profile. We'd also include your wife into that. We started looking at your portfolio. We started looking at the optimization of that. I look to see if there's anything that I can challenge you on around what you've set up, and if I can see there could be another way to review this or view it. And of course, then we start saying, okay, this is what our goal is or your goal is, how we're going to structure this, set it up. Especially with the US, like what else are you looking for? Are there things that we need to put in place? What feelers can we start putting out there? What areas? A whole lot of those kinds of things. And of course, we can start mapping that and building that out. We can really get going on that very quickly. So let me know. It'd be great to touch base again. You can certainly come back to me through voicemail or, of course, through email or through WhatsApp as we maybe finalize some details. And of course, if there's anything else that you feel is really important. And it just made me realize as well that you'd mentioned about parenting. So if there are certain things like in this, what I'll do is, I'll actually throw in 2 of my other parenting courses. You can choose which one you want into this as well for you and your wife, so you can get 2 access links. And my sense is that there's a lot in there which actually will help anyone and everyone, right? That's why we have nearly 20,000 students in over 55 countries. I think now 55 countries around the world, translated into more than 5 or 7 different languages: Polish, Italian, Portuguese. It's really quite exciting to see some of the stuff. My course has been translated into those different languages, right? And it really just highlights again for me, it's this ability to understand what someone is wanting, whether it is for our kids, and for us to unlock that, and especially through that communication. And I find this the same. It's even to the point where you might say, how do I have these ALA conversations with a seller? That's a communication skill. That's not just saying, hey, here's a good deal, how do we get it? It's how do you unlock that potential? Because it's a relationship. You're going to be in a relationship to that seller for a long time, at least for the whole installment sale period, whether it's 2, 5, or 10, 15 years. So you want to make sure you're building trust very quickly so that they trust you with their credit. They trust you that whatever dream they're wanting and wanting to get out of this, you're actually putting in place. So that's around communication. That's exactly what, for me, my speciality is in helping you unlock that potential and make it work. So there we go. It would be great to chat to you. I'm available next week quite a lot, but again, just message me and we can carry on the conversation. So yeah, have a great weekend and look forward to chatting to you soon.